Welcome back everybody, it's DestinysJesus here. In today's video, I'm going to show you guys the easiest way that you can make $1 million from Fortnite, which is just simply practicing this MrBeast Cup and just learning some strategies from it. I'm showing you a few things in here, so I'll give you an overview of the mode. But basically, this is probably going to be your best chance that you can actually make money. I'm going to show you a couple of tips and tricks to do it, as well as just teaching you guys how the optimal strategy is to get as high points as possible. So just for an overview on this mode and how you want to do as well as possible in it, there's basically one main section here, which is the sort of start island. You have to run around and avoid getting hit by things that take HP away, like bombs and these things that move back and forth, the pillar things, and then also the phasing things that come towards you. So you need to be trying to avoid taking damage, and you also need to try to run around and complete coins and also complete some mini tasks. Then there's 5 mini games that you need to go ahead and complete. Each time you complete a mini game, you get a bonus depending on how quickly you finish it compared to the other people in your lobby. So as you can see here, I get second place in this mini game, so I don't get as many coins compared to the person who gets first place. If you want a chance of doing as well as possible, you need to win all of the mini games and practice all of them. And you need to also make sure that you don't take any damage basically as you're in the main section, so you get into overtime with as much HP as possible. And of course, collecting coins and getting points is the main way that you're going to be succeeding in this game. Probably the biggest bit of advice I can give you guys in terms of settings for this event, this might sound a little bit silly, but first of all is that playing a higher sense is actually pretty useful when it comes to dodging things and turning around. Playing low sense or medium sense obviously isn't going to be that useful at all. You don't need the accuracy. Playing a high sense and 360s and dodge things is very useful. And also one of the biggest things that I recommend doing is coming down here in your controls and binding something to emotes. So whatever your emotes are here, make sure you bind something. I'll just go ahead and put N on locker slot 2, and then that means whenever I have to go over to the tab to emote, all I need to do is to just press that keybind very simply, rather than, let's say, open up a wheel and then choose. It might not seem like the biggest thing, but when it comes to later rounds and overtime, going ahead and opening up the wheel is something you don't want to be doing. It's going to cost you. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to show you guys how to do as well as possible on these mini games. So the first one, or depending on the order that you get them in, the easiest one I think is this tile one. All you need to do is survive for 25 seconds. So in other games like this, where you go down and chop other people out so other people die, that's not as important. It's just about making sure you survive. And also make sure when you're doing this, you try to get coins as well. You can see I'm not really focusing on coins. I let other people get ahead of me on the leaderboard. Try to make sure you're focusing on getting as many coins as possible instead of just surviving, since surviving is pretty easy on this. Alright, for red light, green light, a lot of people mess this up and they actually don't get as far as you possibly can. So instantly at the start, you want to make sure you get as much distance for sprint, and then you can actually keep going for a decent bit. However, that guy obviously went a little bit too long. So you can see here very easily 1 versus 6 other people, just because you can go a little bit further than the other people if you don't stop too early. Next up on the mini games is going to be the floor is lava. This is honestly, I think, the hardest mini game when it turns to looking at it. A lot of people fail it and end up dying to the lava. But if you can learn the pattern of going up to get as many coins as possible, since you always start in the same area, you can actually get this really quick. So it's something you need to practice around with, figuring out how to get up as quick as possible, and also realizing you can actually mantle to ones that are really far away, and you don't just take the long route like I'm doing here in this background clip. You can actually mantle up very quickly like this and actually get to the very top, which gives you the highest coin bonus. For the red circle minigame, one thing I'd recommend doing is not running in too wide of a loop. Try to keep just going back and forth. And also, if you do get shockwaved or impulsed off, don't actually use your grapple. Instead, just sprint back. It's a lot quicker than using the grapple and having that animation. Alright, for this maze, it's very simple to do. All you need to do at the start is to go ahead and jump up and look where the center is as soon as you spawn. So start sprinting forward, jump up and look, and then you can see it's very simple to actually complete it. Just run this way and then left, or no, straight and then left, and then you complete it. It's pretty much the same pattern every single time to complete it, so make sure you get first place. Another one of the hardest mini games I think people are sort of struggling with is the one where you actually need to fill the grey briefcase. All you need to do is just find the grey briefcase as soon as you spawn in. So what I recommend doing is jumping as soon as you spawn, doing a little 360 and trying to spot the briefcase and then go over this straight away. So you can see here, I end up actually spotting it right here, and you need to run over to it as soon as possible because obviously the spawns are slightly random. You need to make sure you're the first one to spot it and then go straight away. Alright, for this dropper, it's very simple to do. All you need to do is to go ahead and jump forward at the start like this and try to beat other people. It's very simple to do, just literally just eyeball it and go in the center. Don't try to be clever and go around the edges, and you should always beat the other people in the lobby, depending on how many people are in there, but just try to sprint forward and jump down the middle as soon as possible.